are you still going to have to deal with any kind of estrogen management with the combination of 300 test with the 25 D-ball per day when you also have the 300 EQ there to help offset it?
Probably not. And if you did, you could probably actually tweak it by just dropping the test to 200.
Yeah. Yeah. That's possible, isn't it?
Hmm.
You know, that might not be a bad cycle to
I
have
think I think we forget
Novadex.
sometimes you can actually take things down as well as take them
No.
up.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast with Dave Crossland. I'm Scott McNally, and all of our programming is brought to you by evalbloodanalysis.com. You can get your labs done by Dave if you're in the UK. And hey, if you're on cycle, you should definitely be getting your labs done. I know most of you guys are. Just a reminder. Also, we are brought to you by truenutrition.com. Use our code THINK for additional savings on all your basic bodybuilding supplements. Get high quality protein powder that has been third party tested. It doesn't have lead in it. I don't know if you guys have seen all the news about protein powder purity lately. There's some scary stuff out there. Use our code THINK to get 10% off all your orders and all your basic bodybuilding stuff. We're brought to you by Strom Sports Nutrition. For those of you in the UK and the US now, they've got great health stacks. So if your blood's a little bit thick, get some Thrombo Max. If you guys want to get just the basic cycle support products, you can get that. Stack things together for your specific needs. Check out Strom. Supplementsource.ca. Use there is no code over there. Supplementsource.ca for Canadians. They already have like blowout deals, like label change stuff, short dated products. All those things are like just ready for you to just swipe up for like $12, $20 for a pre-workout. Dave, so we've got a bunch of stuff, man. We've got all the listener questions. Everybody commented. I've got some feedback too that people have given us from last episode, so we can get into that today. We had news. There's steroids in the news. Basically, Victor Cante, who is the owner of Belco, he's passed away. I guess I think he had pancreatic cancer, and we've got a topic. You know, we're coming into the winter time for us here in the US and you guys over there too. We wanted to talk about like trying to make as many gains as you possibly can. Well, trying to save money, basically cycling on a budget. What would be the most cost effective ways to put a cycle together for somebody who isn't ready to break the bank? I know sometimes people hear us talk about gear and it's like, oh, well, you just add in this and you add in that. Then you put SLU on top of that. You run 10 units of growth. And I know a lot of guys at home are like, huh? I don't have the money to do all this stuff. So, what are the bare bones that you actually need to be able to run a cycle? Let's start there, man.
If you're talking proper bargain basement budget, oral wise, I'd say Debo. Um,
Yeah.
or if you're into your strength, I would say my favorite, Oxys.
Oxy.
Oxy. Oxymethylone. Or as you like to say, Anapolon. A-bombs. But yeah, I would
Androl.
be. They are the two, I think, biggest bang for buck orals, without doubt. If we're going injectable, obviously it's going to be Test. It's going to be there because it is cheap. You know, it doesn't cost a lot of money. Bang for bang for buck, as in literal bang for buck, then you can't consider Primo. You can't consider Masteron. Too expensive. You can't consider Tren. Again, too expensive. Though it does give a lot more bang.
I was going to say, yeah, because I was going to say you could run a lower dose. Let me ask you this. What do you think of how does a low dose of Tren compared to, say, an average dose of, another compound, maybe EQ? What about a low dose of Tren cost wise, compared to, say 100 milligrams of Tren to 300 milligrams of EQ, which is going to build more muscle?
That's a difficult one, but the other thing to potentially consider, which one is going to require more drug management and therefore costs on auxiliaries.
100 Tren is, dose is going to be a big factor
Are
in
you?
side effects, right? So your
Yeah. Are
100
you talking
Tren, you
100?
might do all right.
Are you talking 100 milligram a week?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because we're talking cheap, right? So
Yeah, I actually think you'd probably get more out of the EQ, to be honest, from a muscle building aspect. I think you might get more out of the trend from a strength aspect, but I think you'd get more out of the EQ from a muscle building aspect.
yeah, I could see that. I
Um,
yeah, I think you might be right. Honestly, I think you
I
might
mean,
be right.
I think uh, Mast, Primo, THB, meant I think are all drugs that are sort of budget wise gone.
Yeah, they're more expensive
Yeah,
generally.
I think your budget drugs are your Test, your Deca, your EQ. And then I think you've got Tren as a weird sort of in the middle where it is more expensive, but it does deliver a lot.
Yeah,
And I think that's where it's a bit, is the extra money worth the extra bang? In the right scenario, potentially. Yeah, I mean, I think if you were looking for strength, then I would definitely be looking at Tren as being good value for money. Um, if you're looking for mass building, I would probably say not so much. And I'd probably look at either EQ or Deca there, or just Test. And I know Test is boring, and Debol is boring, and it's not fancy, and it doesn't have a load of letters and numbers after it, and it's not an amazing new research peptide. But I mean, even when you start looking at like you look at the GHRPs or you look at SLU and the new peptides that are coming through, for what they cost to what they give you, they're quite an expensive way to go. Which is one of the reasons why GH has become so popular, not just because it's available, but it's actually available relatively cheaply. And if you try to do the same thing with GHRPs and other GH secretaries, you'd probably end up spending more money, to be honest, for the same sort of effect.
yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. So, all right, back to the foundation then. We're going to start with test. Test is going to build some great muscle. That's going to be the basis of our cycle. We're going to add to that an injectable. You're saying either DECA or EQ, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably, if it wasn't for slamming of estrogen, I would say every other aspect you'd probably get away with just running EQ on its own. But
Yeah.
because of the fact that it will absolutely trash estrogen, then if you did run EQ on its own, it'd be very short. And yeah, Robbie Robinson used to run Deca on its own, but I've not found many people that can tolerate that.
Yeah.
I've low test, high Deca. Yeah, I found a lot of people can get away with that, but just Deca straight on its own, I've not found that. And when I've looked at Deca only cycles that people have proposed, I've usually found that there's something like D-ball added, or there's another compound in there that isn't true Deca only. So, but there will be people that can get away with Deca only. Definitely, there will. Those people will exist.
What? Okay. So we've got test and then either DECA or EQ.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned orals, Anadrol or Depot as being
Yeah.
a potential. And you could run those at low doses and still get good benefit. Let's say you're strapped for cash and you're just taking, like a lot of times now, D-ball comes in 15 milligrams. Take a
Right. Well, if
half a
you're
tab of D-ball a day. I mean, what's the minimum you could get dose wise out of Anadrol? Could you get something out of
25,
25 per day
yeah,
for 8 weeks
yeah.
or something?
Yeah, and I think there's an option as well: 30 milligram D-bol and 300 milligram EQ. I think that would actually be not a bad little cycle.
I like that combo. I like that combo. Obviously, test in there too, right?
I think you might get away with that.
No test.
I think you might just get away with
Okay,
it with the D-bol.
let me ask you this. Is that a cycle that you have recommended to people on a regular
No,
basis?
no, that's just
Have
something
you
I was just
ever?
thinking
Have
now.
you have you ever recommended that cycle?
No, but I was just thinking now, if EQ was relatively low, 300 milligram, I know it's not going to have huge effects,
Yeah.
but the D-bol, because D-bol converts to such a strong estrogen, we're going to get some good estrogen off the D-bol. That might be enough to offset the EQ and might actually create a viable cycle. I mean, I am just talking theoretically here. I've never tried it, never had anyone try it, but on
Right.
paper, it could potentially work.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. You might even still need some AI at 25 D-ball a day. Who knows? I don't know.
I think, 30, I'd say 25, 30 D-ball and 300 EQ. It's not, it's not going to be pulling any houses down,
Yeah.
but for the the student version of budget it could actually be quite productive for that. I'm more I think about it, the more I think that might actually work.
Yeah, well, I'd say I would, as from a coaching perspective, I would start with test still. I would have test in there as my foundation. I might try 300 test, 300 because a lot of EQ is coming at 300 milligrams now per milliliter, right? So you could get away with just a little bit over 1 mil test, or there's a lot of test that's 300. Let's say you get a test that's 300, an EQ that's 300, and some D-ball tabs that are 50. You could do a half a D-ball tab with 1 mil test, 1 mil EQ, ride that out, one bottle of each for 10 weeks. That could be a pretty solid little cycle. Maybe D-ball for the first 8 or last 8, something like that.
No, I think that could
25.
work quite. Yeah, I think that could work quite well.
Geez, I feel like you could actually, especially for somebody who hasn't run a lot of gear, they don't have a lot of experience. I think
Mm.
somebody could do really good with that. Wonder about, are you still going to have to deal with any kind of estrogen management with the combination of 300 test with the 25 D ball per day when you also have the 300 EQ there to help offset it?
Probably not. And if you did, you could probably actually tweak it by just dropping the test to 200.
Yeah. Yeah. That's possible, isn't it?
Hmm.
That might not be a bad cycle to
I
have
think I think we forget
Novadex.
sometimes you can actually take things down as well as take them
No.
up.
I might have like a little Novadex on hand for that
Yeah,
one. That way, if you do get some sensitivity,
yeah.
bam, you
I
can
mean,
pop that in.
for me with estrogen management, I would always if I mean I know we're trying to be budget, but Novadex is pretty cheap. But I would always err on the side of if we're going into an environment where we're unsure about estrogen levels or estrogen responses, that it's always worth throwing some Novadex in. Water retention, we can get rid of that. Erectile issues, we get rid of that once we sort the estrogen. But obviously, gyno is a much more long-term management problem. So if we can offset against that from the beginning by throwing Novadex in there, it's definitely worthwhile doing. So I would recommend that. Yeah.
All right. It's settled. So it's settled. We've got I think we came up with a pretty good budget cycle there, actually. I think that I'd be happy with that, man. We did get asked too, and I don't know, I've got the question here somewhere. Somebody said that they were planning to start test and Deca with, I can't remember what the dosing was, but it was a moderate amount of D-ball. So basically the classic test Deca D-ball cycle, which is older than you and I, way before our time even. Oh, we got a work related eval situation here, guys. We'll hold on for Dave for a minute. But yeah, we had a guy who said he wanted to run test Deca D ball. He said, what do you guys think? Is that out of date? Is that old school now?
Might get away
Is
with
it?
it. Might. Sorry about that.
Yeah, is that outdated, Dave? Test Deca D ball.
Is it full? Well, I can't. Right. Okay. Here we go. 1960s GT40 was a 200 mile an hour car, correct?
Okay. Yes,
Well,
correct.
you're shit. You're shit with
Yes.
cars, but I like cars. Right. So, is that a slow car? 60
No.
years later, no. It's still a fast car. So, just because Deca-Durabolin have been around since your birth, which is like 200 years ago,
1958. Yeah.
yeah. So
1956.
So at the end of the day, they still work. They still do the job. No, they're not new. No, they're not trendy. No, they're not cutting edge. But they are still solid drugs that do a good job. In the same way that the GT4, being 60-year-old technology, is still an effing fast car. So yes, it's fine.
You know what the difference is? Now, I'm still not a big car guy, right? But I can tell you this: you take like a brand new, whatever Hellcat, right? It is going to be a lot easier to handle on the road, isn't it?
There's no doubt of that, and I suppose you could argue that with the drugs as well. That Deca and Debo take a bit more management because of the estrogen size and prolactin. So that's actually a very good analogy, Scott. Well done.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
First time ever.
I was speaking Dave's language on that one.
No, but it is. Modern drugs. Yeah, the modern DHTs are generally easier to cope with. They're idiot proof. But old school still works. It built
Yeah.
plenty of solid physiques.
All right. Well, if anybody takes us up on this, if anybody, which by the way, none of this is advice. None of it that we give out is advice whatsoever. But if anybody happens to try that this off season, I will be curious to hear how does your progress go. Dave, we had steroids in the news.
I think we need a new disclaimer. This is the rambling of two borderline senile idiots. There you go.
There you go. Victor Cante passed away. He died on us just the other day.
Did I feel that I was doing something different than other athletes and coaches and trainers had done throughout the entire history of the Olympic sport? The answer is no.
And does that mean that, just in principle, you would feel no shame because everybody was doing it?
Martin, it's really, in short, the Olympic Games are a fraud. Okay, it's almost like what I'm here to tell you right now is that not only is there no Santa Claus, but there's no Easter Bunny or Tooth Fairy either.
So I don't know did you ever see him in, do you remember that movie Bigger, Stronger, Faster?
I never watched that.
Chris Bell. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
no, I
that was
never
a
watched that.
great movie, man. I saw it
No,
in the
I believe
theater when
so.
it first came
Yeah,
out.
I believe it was a very good movie, but I've never actually seen it. I know the Conti name, but I only know the Conti name because there's a Conti supplements in the UK.
Okay. Well, Victor Cante, he was born on January 10th, 1950. He passed away on November 3rd, 2025. Get this, American musician and businessman. He was in like a 70s funk band called Tower of Power. And they actually mentioned that in the movie too, Bigger, Stronger, Faster. And the reason they had him in there is because he was the head of Balco. It was like the Bay Area what was it? Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative. In 2005, he did a prison sentence, pleading guilty to conspiracy to distribute steroids and to money laundering. He started a supplement company after that. In fact, I think that he was the one who was really pushing ZMA. Now that I think about it, early on, but could be wrong about that. But yeah, the deal is, what was it? So 1984, he founded Belco, and then in 2004, in an interview for ABC, he admitted to running doping programs which have broken Olympic world records. It was like Marion Jones, Dwayne Chambers. I believe that there was nothing proven with Barry Bonds, but like that whole baseball fiasco, like there were clients that were going to to Balco, and that's where I think they were using compounds that Patrick Arnold had developed. Which, remember, we were asked, like, why are there new steroids being developed? He came up with a couple of them. They called them like the cream in the clear. THG was one of them. They weren't like the best steroids, but the benefit is that they weren't detectable. So Dave, when you test steroids, you don't just have a test that's like, this test positive for all steroids, right? It's like you
No.
have to test for each one, right?
Yeah, when you do any sort of detection testing, even when we do blood testing, you have to use the analyte that reacts to the presence of the metabolites or that compound, depending on what it is. So yeah, can I ask you a question?
Please do.
Okay, so when somebody that's born at the same time as you passes away, do you start thinking about your own mortality?
He was born, what did we say, 1950?
50, yeah, so same
Yeah,
age as
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It hits home, Dave. It hits home.
I just wondered. No, I mean, I don't know a lot about the gentleman. I recognise Balco and I recognise his name, but I know very little about the gentleman, which I should do, really, because he has played a major role in this industry in one way or another. Whether you think assisted drug use is good or bad, he's still a key figure in that world. But it's unfortunate when anyone passes, particularly when they pass of a disease rather than of just ripe old age.
Yeah.
Which is this case. But yeah, when you look for the thing is with these drugs that cleared testing, it wasn't that they were undetectable. It's a bit of a falsehood, is that? It's that they weren't looking for them because they didn't know they existed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the difference. It's like, well, we don't know about the metabolite for this, so we're not even looking for it.
Well, you
So,
guys do a lot of testing with everything with the federations over there, and I know you guys have like tested and natural shows and stuff. So I take it then that's all urine testing for those contests, right?
yeah, so the night testing we do for PCA is we to be honest, we don't do the testing. King's College do the testing, which is the only WADA approved testing centre in the UK. So
Okay.
and they test from urine, and yeah, when PCA do the testing, they test to WADA guidelines. So it's the same test that athletes would receive for the Olympics from their urine testing.
Oh, okay. So even stuff like recreational drugs, if you popped for that, does
Yeah,
that
yeah,
actually
because
okay?
cocaine is officially a
Ah,
performance enhancing drug. I mean,
yeah.
the original Olympic Games, the Athene stuff from way back in Greek Roman times, a lot of the athletes use cocaine because it's a stimulant and it increases output.
Yeah. I've talked about it before, but and I know we've talked about it actually. What Victor Cante had talked about in the past was the doping would actually take place before the competition. So weeks out, you're getting their strength up and maybe you've increased by like 3 steps forward now, but then you come off of it, you get tighter, you might end up losing some of that power that you developed, but now you're lighter and you still have like 2 steps forward or 1 step
It-
forward, which in an
yeah,
Olympic level, 1 step forward is like that's how we break, records for the best
that's
in the world.
that's what the East Germans did for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
Doped in the off season, avoided testing in the off season, stopped the doping pre-comp, carried through some performance benefits. No, it wasn't as strong as when they were on cycle, but it was more than what they would have had naturally. And you've got that whole satellite cell thing, which is, if you remember, we discussed that study. Was it Tim who was doing that study on satellite proliferation and how long it remained post exposure
No,
to AH? Oh, who was that?
no, that was Alex PK.
Alex did that, yeah. So
Yeah.
you
That was a
know,
while
and
ago.
yeah, but I mean, he showed that the increase in satellite cells there was an increase, not the total increase, but there was an increase in satellite cell. The duration was quite some time, I believe, into years. So
Basically, the
uh,
point being that once you take gear, it permanently alters the muscle long term.
yes.
That's
For Jay, they were chewing on coca leaves, my friend, not cocaine as a refined product, but they chewed coca leaves.
somebody asked a question. Did
Yeah.
Dave just claim that
Um,
ancient Greeks were using cocaine?
Yeah, they chewed coca leaves. It's been documented.
Huh.
And they used other things of the time that were stimulants.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Just a quick shout out to True Nutrition. I figured I'd bring you to the home gym here, so welcome. And I just wanted to show you my order. So, nothing big deal. I've got a few pounds of the cold filtered whey ISO. I'm a big fan of the cookie butter flavor. I've been on this year. This has like been my favorite, but they've got a bunch of different flavors. So if you're interested in something else, just check them out. It's a very light protein overall. It's not going to bloat your digestion down. It's not going to cause a bunch of water retention. This is the kind of protein that I suggest to people who are doing a contest prep. They've got all your basic bodybuilding supplements like creatine. They've got great intra-workout, highly branched cyclic dextrin, which is the high end. And then they've got the cheaper stuff like Carbo Load, like anybody can afford that. And of course, use our code THINK. It'll get you 10% off. They really kicked up. It used to only be 5%. Now you get 10% off if you use the code. And it throws some money our way too, so it definitely helps the podcast out a ton. Might be a buck here and there, but if you guys all use the code, it definitely adds up. And you have been using the code, so thank you for that. Let's get back to the podcast, but thank you for hanging out with me here in the home gym.
So we got a bunch of listener questions. Throughout the questions, I also have feedback from the last show, so I'll intersperse that too. And you guys are freaking awesome, by the way. Thank you for hanging out with us. We love doing the show, and we love the positivity that you guys bring. But I enjoy doing the show. I can speak for myself. I can't speak for both of us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
Check this out. So the captain, he said, D-ball is the biggest waste of time ever. It's like wearing a fat suit from the inside. When you stop taking it, you take the fat suit off and somehow look worse than before. That's rough, man. That's rough. Do you agree with that, Dave?
What?
His statement.
I wasn't listening.
All right.
What, you want me to lie?
And then he laughed. That was very British and polite of you. I'm going to say this.
I was trying to blag it and just see if I could coast through it, and you pulled me on it because you knew I was looking at something that popped up on my screen.
All right, you're very distracted today. Are you okay?
I apologize. I'll behave. Sorry.
Do you take any meds for your ADHD?
The issue is the clinic was still running in the background, but the clinic has now stopped because the last clients were late.
Oh, okay. No, I'll tell you. I'll read it to you again. He said, D-ball is the biggest waste of time ever. It's like wearing a fat suit from the inside. When you stop taking the fat suit off, and somehow then you look worse than before.
I disagree, but fair enough. D-ball can punish you with estrogen and water, yes, but like anything, if you're on top of your game, it can be managed. Not saying it's easy with D-ball, particularly at higher doses, but it can be done. But it's still a very effective muscle builder. Scott will tell us about his 10 milligram first cycle, where he put on 33 stone of muscle.
Yeah, 33 stone. I gained 20 pounds on 15 milligrams in 4 weeks.
You did really well.
Oh. And then I kept 10, so I kept half of it.
Yeah, but 10 pound in 4 weeks is still...
In 4 weeks on 1 box of Naposin D-ball. Here's the deal, too, I think. So we when we go on cycle and we're working to grow muscle, we get bigger and fuller and rounder. D-ball is going to do that to the extreme. And especially if you're not eating super clean, right? You're going to hold more and more water and you're going to be like, but I look good in the gym, man. You still see that bicep vein and you're stretching your shirts out. Now, fast forward, you come off the D-ball, you lose that water. You don't have that perma pump anymore, but you still do have the fat that you also gained from eating off plant or, not eating a clean diet. So yeah, I think it can become messy versus, Primo, Masteron, even EQ to a degree. What you kind of see is what you get,
Do you think as users in general, we've got a little bit lazy because there's a drug for absolutely everything these days, so that we don't tend to I don't mean this in a negative sense. I genuinely don't. I mean it in a sense that rather than making the effort to manage things correctly, we just take another compound to deal with it.
Oh, yeah, we're notorious for that, man.
Do you think that's more so now? It's more so now than it used to be. I mean, obviously, estrogen management was always an issue, but if you kept your diet super clean and you were relatively lean, estrogen management wasn't as hard to do.
Yeah, I think that because we have more education now and more understanding of what's going on, that we also then have come up with more options. That instead of the good old days, quote unquote, when we didn't know as much, you had limited options on how to fix something, versus now we're like, oh, all you have to do is take 10 milligrams of this. And, like there's an answer. There's a lot more answers, I think, today. I think that's what it is. I think that we're in a better place overall for knowing that stuff. But you're right, man. Like sometimes it's a matter of like, back off, keep it simple.
Yeah, I just wondered. Oh, we love to overcomplicate things. Done it myself. You know what I mean? Dave, you've got kidney. No, I haven't got kidney failure. I've got some really, really complex water, electrolyte, cellular imbalance transition problem. Not the kidneys are fucked and I'm holding water.
Exactly. Love the
Yeah.
episode as always, gentlemen. I have a question, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, 10% body fat. So pretty big dude overall, and lean. Says, I'm finishing a fat loss recomp phase. I'm currently running 500 test E, 300 EQ, 2 IUs of growth. I want to add in 100 milligrams of NPP to my mass phase cycle when I start. Should I go with this, or what ratio should I go with? Or should I bump the test in EQ? Thanks in advance. So he's currently already running test and EQ at 500, 300. He's asking, should he just like keep going and add in NPP on top of that?
I need some clarification of how long he's been on. If he's
Yeah.
properly done a cut, then I would actually cut down the TRT, use food to rebound for a good period of time, use that time to have some break, and then drop into a cycle when things start to stall out. I know lots of people. It's very easy to convince yourself that you need drugs to grow, but when you're coming off the back of a cut, actually, generally you don't, and you'll probably get really decent progress. I'd say if you reverse out of it properly, you'll at least get 4 to 6 weeks of solid progress and increases before you even need to consider doing anything chemical. And you do need a break. You can't just keep staying on. And EQ, though your doses are astronomically high, you're going to need to have a look and see where you are with stuff like FBC and make sure that hemo's not got too high. Because when you start going into the push, it will soon become counterproductive to your performance. So, or your recovery, should I say. So, yeah, I'd definitely consider a break. Rebounding, you could probably keep the GH in, but I would look to rebound with food only for a period of time. Give your body a break, and then
8
drop the
weeks.
drugs back in. Yeah, I think
8 weeks. Get
exactly,
your labs checked, make sure everything's looking good, and then jump back on. I'd be down with that. 150 milligrams of TRT. He says, and topical finasteride. My hair seems stable. I want to add in 50 milligrams of Deca for joint support. Should I be worried about the additional shedding on such a small amount of Nandrolone? Oh, Dave, that also reminds me, we did a Nandrolone episode not long ago. And one of the points I made, it was just a side point, that is, if you are taking finasteride, that your Boldenone, or excuse me, your Nandrolone is not going to convert to dihydronandrolone, which is more gentle on the hairline, meaning that the direct Deca is now going to attack your hairline. That's what he's referencing. We did get a comment that said, everybody says that Deca is gentle on the hairline. These guys are saying that it's terrible on your hairline.
No, Deca is generally gentle on the hairline.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very much so.
Just to clear it up for anybody who's retarded.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for hair-friendly compounds, I would say Deca, EQ are two particularly hair-friendly compounds. So I wouldn't be concerned. Definitely not at 50 milligrams. I wouldn't be concerned. At all. No, I wouldn't be concerned with that. If your concern is hairline, I think you're going to be very safe.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I use shitloads of Deca. Look at my hairline; it's lovely.
I think that at 50 milligrams, you're probably going to be all right. If you planned on upping it into a legit cycle with finasteride, you may have additional shedding, but it's one of those things that you can see it happening. Like, if you feel all your hair coming out in your hands, you can stop the cycle, so it's not something that you have to follow through with. But I think 50 be all right. Got a question for the next show. Been on True TRT for almost 2 years. And in the past, I did one cycle of, I don't know what he's saying here. It's just not worded like, of in a bar, it worked good. One cycle of, Anavar is what he means. One cycle of Anavar. It says in a bar.
Yeah, but unfortunately, spell check can sometimes really screw shit up.
Yeah, it worked good. But I have enough saved up to equal 300 milligrams of test and 300 milligrams of Deca a week for 20 weeks. For thank you for 16. I don't know. What's your opinion on that for strength? So I'm just going to guess he means 300 test, 300 Deca a week for 20 weeks.
Yeah, 20 weeks is a bit on the long side for my taste, but I know you prefer slightly longer cycles. It's not a high dose, so it's not exactly something that's going to be particularly, mega impacting health-wise.
Yeah.
I like Deca as a strength compound. It's not... On paper, it shouldn't work, really. When you start looking at it as a compound, on paper, it shouldn't really give you strength, but there's plenty of anecdotal evidence to show that it does. I like it. It's a nice compound, and I find it a good backbone for a lot of strength cycles. So yeah, he should do all right. I mean, is he just wanting pure strength? I mean, is he wanting to develop power in a sense of he's a power lifter who's competing in strength, or is he just looking for some bodybuilding style strength against?
Yeah, I imagine he's trying to grow muscle overall. He's got a picture his avatar. I almost said Anavar. His avatar is like him, like hitting a flex. So that'd be my guess at least.
I think it's fine. I don't see any issues.
Yeah, he's a TRT guy. So as long as you're not seeing labs go out of range, which it's like you said, a low dose cycle, but I would still check maybe 14 weeks in, see where your hematocrit is. Just double check, and if it's getting crazy, then maybe it's time to cut it there. Base what you're going to do with the dosing off of how labs look.
I mean, if he's legit TRT, he's probably got quite recent labs anyway, so he'll have a start point of which he could base from.
Yeah. Oh, we had a listener who said, "I just hit the hype button." Do you know about the hype button?
No.
There's a hype button. I don't
Is it?
see it. Yeah. Like I look at my phone when I go on YouTube, I don't see a hype button, but apparently there's a hype button. So if you guys see the hype button, hit the hype button. It helps us to like boost the show up and stuff. We want that, right?
I think so.
Right, Dave? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
we
so.
do. We like
Do
that.
we want that? All right, I'll take it from you. I don't know technology shit.
Well, I mean, we like getting the show boosted.
I don't even do my own social, so how the hell am I supposed to know?
Well, look what's happened since you don't. You're getting banned.
I know, it's been a lot better.
Instagram. Yeah.
It's been a lot better.
It's getting worse, man.
It was me that put the post up that got me live banned from Instagram.
Oh, which wasn't really your fault. They're just picking on you at this point, man.
I think they are. I think it's persecution. Yes, I do. I think I'm generally being picked on.
Once they get on to somebody, they just keep pressing the button. Like you're in their book now. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I know. I might start talking about cake or something. Maybe that's safe.
Yeah. Hey guys, love the show. I normally run estrogen around 70 or so. I recently starting taking more of my AI and lost some size, maybe due to water weight. It's kind of freaking me out because my arms went from 19 to 18 and a half inches. And I was like, damn, what happened? I guess I had way more water on me than I thought, but I feel strong at higher estrogen levels.
Is that a UK 70 or a USA 70? There's a fucking big difference.
I'm guessing it's a US 70 because what's your range?
Be, yeah. 149 is upper limit, which is equivalent.
Yeah,
to
so it's got to be.
So.
Yeah, you wouldn't even take an AI if you had a 70, then, right?
Yeah, no, not at all. It'd be low. Elevated E2, the water that come with it can help with strength. There's no denying that. And he's not going to have drop muscle Excuse me. He's done something. I've got a yawn. It's in keeping with the trend of the show.
Yeah.
Unless he's done something drastic. So I suspect that it is water, and though it may be banging his head a little bit because he's lost some cosmetic, he's actually going to be better off for it.
All right. Okay.
Oh,
check this out.
I need to tell you something as well.
Yeah.
So, really, I should use electrolytes. I haven't done for a very long time. And this is a shameless plug, and not because I got it for free, because I got this T-shirt for free, by the way. But I generally
pink shirt that you're wearing right now. Somebody gave you that pink shirt, and you actually wore it.
Yeah, they asked me to wear it on the podcast, and I said I would because they gave it me for free.
Okay.
Because I am for sale. I will sell my soul. I am that shallow. Anyway, no, so I know I just yawned, but actually I feel the brightest I've felt in a long time, and it's because I've only just started using electrolytes, because dumb retard me completely forgot that with my kidneys being as trashed as they are, I do struggle to hold on to mineral and salts, and I've been using this shit.
Okay.
And this comes in some of the maddest flavors. Your tomato flavor.
What? I don't want that one.
No, I don't. Almond flavor. I don't particularly want.
What?
I just picked one this morning, and it was vanilla. It wasn't the nicest, to be honest.
I want like a fruity flavor. They have any fruit flavors like pomegranate or anything like that?
Yeah, they have pomegranate. They have honey melon. They have wild something. What the fuck that is? Watermelon, white grape, iced tea lemon, iced tea peach, iced tea passion fruit, red grape, red orange. Loads. But actually, it really has had a positive impact. So there you go. That's my little thing for the day.
Yeah. Hey, anybody on the live stream who is watching, Dave's video will look a lot better in the recorded version. It'll be crystal clear.
Mine is crystal clear. It's yours that looks like it's out of Minecraft.
That's not what the people are saying at home, Dave.
No, I don't care what the people are saying at home. Stuff them.
Thanks for answering my Ngenla question, Scott. Just been doing some research, and I saw that milligram per IU is not the same as standard growth hormone due to the long lasting effects. And something Vigorous Steve mentioned is that he equated 6 milligrams of Ngenla to work out to being more like 10 IU. I don't know about that. I'd have to watch what Steve said about it. Does he mean that it feels like, because our standard is what? 1 milligram of GH is 3 IU, right, Dave? Okay, 3.3.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that would be different for this
I
product.
believe there's a lower peak with the slow acting IU for IU. But I only, like I say, when I looked at the clinical research, there was a resounding clinical concern about insulin resistance from it. And that was across the board. And the basic clinical situation was, we'll just have to wait and see how it pans out. Because obviously they hadn't done any long-term studies to show what it was happening long-term. But there was a genuine clinical concern about insulin resistance from the slow-acting GH.
So my client, we added it up, who has a bunch of this stuff. We just started his off-season cycle. Right now he's just using a small dose of it along with traditional growth. We're going to boost that crap up. He's got like 580 milligrams. He's got a lot of it, dude.
Why? I've got to ask why. Where did it come from?
We can't talk about that here. But I will tell you that we will find out, one way or another, how he does with it too. So
he was passing a van, and it was just sat on the back of this van, and nobody was around or claiming it.
Yep, fell off the back of truck, Dave.
Yeah. Okay.
Although Dave is really well respected in the industry, I feel like we don't know what we have until it's gone with him. Almost like a Rich Piana type feel when Dave is to pass. Public service announcement, make the most of Dave?
I don't know how to feel about that one.
It's like, it was almost like a eulogy that you got to listen to.
I mean, I am generally at one with my demise. I did expect it to have happened. Not that I'm going to really know about it because I'm going to be snuffed anyway and not realize I'm snuffed because I am snuffed. I don't know. Maybe I do realize I'm snuffed. Maybe I'm going to float around in the sky and annoy people. I would like to.
Oh God,
I would
please
definitely
no.
like.
No.
I would definitely like to
No.
come back and steal Scott's
No.
socks and keys. Yes, I would definitely love that. Yeah. I don't know. Can you? I mean, you're supposed to. If it happens, and I'm open-minded to it, I generally don't know, you're supposed to haunt the people close to you. But would I haunt you because this connection is a technological one, not an in-person one?
Did you, by the way, did you give us the name of that electrolyte company, or did you just say this shit and show the box on the screen?
I just said this shit and showed the box. Do you want me to give you the name?
Yeah, of course. If you're going to plug them, then go full plug.
I'm not plugging them. I didn't give it me for free. I friggin' bought it.
Oh. Well, they gave you the shirt.
No, that was from somebody else. Ryan Gabaloni gave me this from his sponsor.
Dave, you were like, okay, so listen, I want to plug these guys. I got this free shirt, and I've been on electrolytes now, and I'm finding that they help me a lot. So here's my free shirt. Here's this shit. Check it out. I feel a lot better taking electrolytes.
Right, so
that was so confusing.
Ryan Gabaloni is sponsored by the shirt company, and he gave me the shirt. The electrolytes that I bought are a company called Bolero.
Oh, Bolero's great. Yeah.
Oh, do you know him? I don't know.
Yeah. No, Bolero makes great stuff. And they do have a bunch of crazy flavors, man.
Oh, fucking some right mad flavors.
Yeah. Did you get that while you were at the show?
Yeah.
Okay. And who was the people at the booth? Did you talk to the people at the booth? Okay.
No.
Huh. I know that because I know some of the people from that company. There's some good people there. All right.
Yeah, but it was UK based, so I don't think it would have been the same anyway, would it?
I don't know because one of the guys is Italian and he travels all over. So
okay, but no, right, okay, I'm a bit derailed now talking about me dying.
Yeah, I know. That got really sideways real fast, didn't it?
Yeah, it's I mean, I had expected it sooner. It hasn't happened. I'm in a bit of a I don't know what to do now. I'm still alive.
You know what you could do?
What?
What did somebody say here? We had another comment. This is somebody who really cares about you, Dave. Let me see if I can find that. He said something about, where is that one? He was like, why doesn't, okay. No. Was that it? Oh, well, here's another nice comment to you. And I don't want to belabor all this. He says, Dave, as an aging scientific meathead who still has a good portion of health remaining that I'm blessed with, I'm concerned for you, brother, whenever you're running on empty like this, because you were real tired on the last episode.
Oh, that was only
seeing
one-off.
My iron brethren struggle with health and energy challenges.
You know, I do meet some people and they tell me how old they are and they're like 4 or 5 years younger than me, and I think, good shit, I hope I look better than that.
We did have a guy who was like, why doesn't Dave take Retta to reduce his inflammation and even benefit his kidneys? I'm bored with that. Why don't we get you on even a low dose? So the clinical dosing is like 4, 8, 12. Why don't we get you on like 1 milligram and see what you get out of that, man? It'll only help you.
Right. So you have viable clinical data on Retta helping kidneys.
Yeah, it's out there. Yeah. And it reduces inflammation. That's the big thing. I think that you could benefit, like for real. I think it would benefit your health. Even at a tiny dose.
Okay.
All right. That means he's going to think about it, but he's really not. But we'll keep.
No. It means I'm genuinely going to look it up. I'm generally going to look it up when it comes to kidney studies because I stay away from loads of shit because of my kidneys.
He said, here it was. Says, any idea why Dave won't use Retta? It has done wonders for my wife, and as I am my wife and I as far as inflammation and autoimmune diseases.
I
He
don't.
would lower inflammatory markers and probably improve his kidney health.
I don't have any issues with inflammatory markers. Actually, my bloods generally come back with not much in the way of inflammation. But if it can improve my kidney markers, I'll definitely have a look at it. Yes. But yeah, your traditional inflammation markers aren't particularly elevated on my blood, so there's no real major inflammation going on there.
Here's a good one. And this was a comment when we were asked last week about like, why aren't there any new steroids? He says, I've worked in drug development for over 20 years, mostly in oncology. There just isn't a market or need for new anabolics. The only one available is generic Anadrol at this point. Anavar and Deca are only available from compounding pharmacies now. Like Dave said on the YK11, if they can develop a non-hormonal treatment for muscle wasting, burn victims, etc. That only anabolics are, but basically he's saying anabolics are essentially over, at least in the U.S.
Yeah,
I
from a
don't
point
see
of view of
developing
development,
more.
yeah, I agree. The shift has been more towards myostatin manipulation or gene manipulation, and I think, to be honest, we might see gene manipulation before we even see a successful myostatin drug. So we might end up missing the myostatin and go completely round to gene just because that yields results sooner in the way of development.
Did you hear that stuff Dorian was saying lately? He was
No,
talking
I don't.
about
I haven't listened to
Mike
anything from Dorian
Israetel.
for a very long time. Right, go on.
I
Oh,
guess
but
that,
slagging Mike off. Yeah, I saw him slagging Mike off. Yeah.
yeah. Somebody commented about they called it he calls the reps in reserve, Dorian calls them wanker workouts.
Yeah, I heard him ripping into Mike, but then at the end of the day, Mike's been shouting off a lot and not always good shit, so it was bound to get some kickback at some point, wasn't it?
He was like real arrogant. He was like, I'm better than Mike Menser ever was. I look better than he ever did. I'm smarter than Mike Menser ever was. Case closed.
Yeah, okay.
And then Dorian sounded off on him. I thought that was very classic. All right. Couple more here. Currently running both. We did a Deca versus EQ episode, and we had a number of people that were like, hey, guess what? I'm on both right now. Says he's running test, EQ, NPP, and GH, all bases covered. 500 EQ, 750 test, 350 NPP. GH is at 15 units every basically 7.5 before bed every night, he says. So it comes in 15 unit vials.
Okay.
Dang, that's quite a cycle. Should I up the GH? Another guy. Should I up the GH or add anything into the cycle? 44 years old, 202 pounds. He's running 500 test SIP, 400 DECA, 400 EQ with 2 units of growth. I do get numb hands, and I'm trying to get more strength and size. Should I up the GH or anything else in the cycle?
If he's already getting numb hands, I probably wouldn't bother with upping the GH because I think the sides are going to make it counterproductive.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice cycle. Just keep the training and diet progressive, and you should do quite well off the back of that.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't said how he's progressing or how what improvements he's seen, so it's a little bit difficult to judge. But if he's making solid progress on that, I'd just keep it. But just, I think a lot of people forget to be progressive with the food as well as the training. You know, when it comes to being on cycle for longer periods.
Yeah. Here was that comment. First 5 cycles was, quote, use test for all of them. Respect for the well-meaning coaching, but nobody's doing that. That was literally one option, Dave, that we said. And that's all he heard. It was a 10-second podcast. We're just like, use test for all of them. Done.
Well, we sort of tend to use test for most cycles anyway, at least as a base compound. So, you know, you can't please them all, Scott. And in our case, you can't please any of them some days. But never
most
mind.
of them. You can't please most of them. All right, just a couple more here. When I discovered DHB, I thought I had found the holy grail. The effects and side effects were better than anything else. So I bought a lot of it from 3 different labs, all tested for purity. Over time, it was almost like my body became allergic to it. The inflammation and bad reactions from shots just seemed to increase over time to the point where I ended up throwing it all away. I went from loving it to straight up not being able to inject it. Sucks. It
Could
does
you
suck.
not have just swap shopped it?
Could you what?
Swap shopped it.
What's swap shop mean?
So there used to be a program on TV as I was a kid called Noel Edmonds Swap Shop, and you could ring in and say, "I've got an action man with one arm missing, and I want to swap it for a Scale Electrics slot car
Okay.
thing." So my thought was, because obviously we can't encourage the retail of such things,
Swap shop it.
could you not have gone to somebody and say, "I'll swap you my DHB for your test or whatever"? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I mean, it would
I
have been
like how you
better
came
than
up with it
throwing
right
it.
away. You're like, just swap shop it. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good. That's really
I'm trying to be algorithm friendly because you keep shouting at me because I keep making mistakes and saying the wrong words.
All right. Let's see. Is this anything else here? Oh, it was a reconstituting question. Ordered a vial of the Clo 3 milliliter. I don't know what that means. It's like I ordered 3 milliliters of BPC. You must mean 3 milligrams.
I'm assuming so, yeah, because it seems more appropriate.
I have bacteriostatic water also. Question is, how much bacteriostatic water to reconstitute it? Dave, do you get a lot of questions about reconstituting peptides?
Oh, it drives me insane. It doesn't matter. When you reconstitute any compound, it doesn't matter how much water you put in.
Well, it does, but
no, it doesn't. In the sense of it's not going to change the dosing of the drug. So let's just do a 101. If you have, and we'll use simple numbers, if you have a vial of a compound that is 5 milligrams, the dry powder, and it is 5 milligrams. If you put 1 mil in there, it will be 5 milligrams per mil. If you want to dose 1 milligram, you would take 0.2 of a mil or a fifth of it.
Because it's fifth of
because it's 5 milligrams per mil, so 1 milligrams would be 1/5 or 0.2 of a mil, or 20 on an insulin. If you then decided I'm going to reconstitute with 2 mil, then you would have 2.5 milligrams per mil or 5 milligrams per 2 mil. So if you wanted to take 1 milligram, you are now going to be taking 0.4 of a mil. You've diluted it by double the fluid, which means it's half as strong per dose.
So
if you put 5 milligrams of fluid in there, you are going to end up with a concentration of 5 milligram per 5 mil or 1 milligram per mil. And if you wanted to dose 1 milligram, you would take a whole mil.
So let me ask you this, Dave. If let's say this is my vial.
Just dead careful now.
There's 5 milligrams in this vial of active compound. And I add in 1 milliliter water. What you're telling me is there's 5 milligrams of compound in this vial, right?
Yep, that doesn't change.
Now, if I add in 2 milliliters of water, did I just double? Now do I have 10 milligrams?
No, you have 5 milligrams.
No, because 5 times 2 is 10, Dave. Now I have 10 because I had 5 with 1 milliliter.
And good viewers and listeners, you wonder why I think he is a prick. Because he knows I get these questions daily.
Oh, dude, we all do, man. I get it as well. Do you do you
Good.
go to peptide calculators? Because I tell people learn how to use that.
No, I try and explain the mathematics because it isn't actually that complex when you break it down.
You know what? It's not for some people, but for others,
I get it. Yeah, some
is.
people.
You know.
Yeah, it's like spelling is difficult for me. I can't spell for shit.
So, yeah, they have
To be honest,
peptide
speaking
calculators.
is difficult some days.
You can just go to a peptide calculator, guys, and you can figure out the math there. It's all you need because it'll show you pictures too. It'll be like if I have 5 milliliters and I add whatever amount of water, what does it look like on the syrup? Yeah.
It's learning the difference between volume, which is milliliters, and drug strength, which is milligrams.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of strength of drug in the vial doesn't change irrespective of how much water you use. Just how much you have to inject from a volume base changes depending on how much water you put in.
Yeah. All right. I want to show you guys some stuff. I got some stuff to show you here.
What are you going to show me?
Check this out. Hold on a second.
You've gone very fuzzy now.
Yeah. Yeah, you should. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. The recording will look good. Look at that. And now that's a very fuzzy picture, I do have to say.
Yeah, it's a crap quality picture.
What am I looking at here?
That's my old monster truck.
Okay.
So it was actually a Canadian.
Is that you?
No, that's we're not lads. He was the shortest, so we put him in front of it because it made the truck look the biggest.
Okay.
So I bought a broken truck from Canada, which I can't remember, which was an old leaf spring truck. And this was at this time there was nitro trucks were running, so nitro shocks were already a very common thing. But we wanted the leaf spring truck because we wanted to make it a ride truck, which we did, as you can see.
Okay.
And then we decided that we were going to race it anyway, so we raced it. So it was a ride truck with a 1,000 horsepower engine in it.
Holy crap.
And we raced it in the first European Monster Truck Series. Didn't do very well in the racing point because obviously it bounced around like a wet blancmange. But did quite well in the freestyle because I didn't give a shit and it could get very high. Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah, there's a very strange...
The Oxhay t-shirt.
Who's wearing that?
That's Bill. I just said that, Dave. Bill. He's one of our listeners.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
So that was my old race truck.
Yeah? Why'd you ever get rid of it?
Long story, definitely not for this channel.
No. Man, you guys didn't know about Dave having a monster truck, did you? Something else. Hey, you got any Uncle Dave's wisdom for us today?
Yeah, don't race monster trucks. It's very expensive and painful.
Oh, I imagine, dude. I imagine, man. And those things probably break all the time, too.
They do when you're doing things in them that you shouldn't really be doing them because it's not built well enough to do that in it.
So when you said a ride truck, and I knew this because you told me before, like if you were at an event with monster trucks, like people would pay then to hop in the back of that thing, get strapped in, and then you go drive around. Would you drive over cars with it? With them?
No, I did. Yeah, I stuck it on wheelies and all sorts with people in the back. Yeah.
Holy crap, man.
I never got that sort of level of air, but we'd definitely get the front wheels off the ground going over the cars, and I've had grown men come off that crying. Yeah.
Oh, I bet, dude. That would be terrifying, man.
The other thing was because they faced each other, we've had one or two kick each other in the face as well.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah.
We used to have this ride at Cedar Point Amusement Park in Sandusky, Ohio. It was called the Demon Drop. And you're in this box and that you were strapped in a seat. It looks kind of like that, but the thing would come down over your head. And you're in this box that goes up 10 stories and then pops out to the front of the track and then just goes straight down for 10 stories. And then at the very bottom, it like goes into an angle and then coasts to a stop.
Yeah, we have similar things, but the more you go up, you usually 4 seats on each side.
It's like a rod thing with a.
You go up to the top, that just free falls you. Yeah.
Yeah, those things are crazy, man. Those rides.
But
something else.
Dave, have I got any Dave's wisdom? No, really. I haven't really had much to. I haven't really done much self-reflection just recently.
Did you meet any listeners over the weekend?
I did, yes. I can't remember who, but I did. A few people came up and said they listened to the show and said thank you and weird things like that, which I always find a bit strange.
It's not
I
used to people
still
being nice. and
no,
stuff.
no, it's not that at all. I don't get the. This is two pillocks, one very fuzzy one usually, just generally talking a load of bollocks for an hour. And people seem to really enjoy it, and it does slightly confuse me. That's all. You know, I just find it a little bit strange.
Yeah, I believe in us though. We do good stuff. We
I
know what?
don't.
We
I'm
entertain people. You know, they like that.
We
You're funny.
we
You
we
say
do,
funny things sometimes.
So do you sometimes, not very often, but you do sometimes.
I like that
I,
swap shop comment. That was real good. Let's swap shop that.
that's a very English thing, and to be fair, probably an over 40s English thing as well.
To be fair,
But
right.
yeah, no, it fascinates me sometimes that people find this show so entertaining, and it surprises me the people that do listen to it, like, you know, people that are quite experienced bodybuilders or even pros, and they're like, oh yeah, I never miss an episode. I'm like, what? Oh really? Why?
It's fun, man. It's cool. And for Ryan, he asked, what number Zyn is that? I don't use Zyn. I use the on nicotine pouches because they're a lot cheaper. I don't use a lot of them. The only times I actually use nicotine pouches are when I'm not eating or sleeping. Outside of that, though,
Scott's heritage is either Jewish or Scottish. His grip on the dollar is extremely tight.
wait, what? What does that mean? What
What?
does that have to do with anything? I
Well,
was
Scottish.
joking. Do you get it? Like I don't use them often, only when I'm not eating. Get it?
I
Like
was
all the
I,
time. That means all the time.
I was referring to the fact that you buy the cheap ones.
Oh, yeah. They can be expensive, but yeah, they're better value. We should get a sponsorship from them. You think? Can we do
I'm
that on
still trying to
YouTube?
I'm trying to get a sponsorship from Pro Chargers still via this show, and it's not working out very well at all. So
I still haven't
you're
sent you
not
your $31. I know I
you're
haven't
not
sent
get
you that yet.
you're not getting your tobacco pouches for free. You can sod
They're not
off.
tobacco. They're just nicotine salts. I'll get some sent to you. You can have them too. How about that?
No, thank you.
If we get the deal.
I am a drug-free individual. I don't believe in drugs. They're terrible things.
Yeah. All right. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and leave us comments and questions for the next episode. Tell us how much how terrible we are at this. We appreciate that. Hit the hype button, guys. Hit that hype button. And of course, go to evalbloodanalysis.com. Get your labs done by Dave. Dave, are you taking new clients right now?
I am actually, yeah. I was actually going to speak to my social person about putting a push on for new clients. Yes.
Okay. Well, hey, reach out to Dave if you're looking for new clients, and hit me up, mcnallydiets@gmail.com. And of course, go to truenutrition.com. Use our code Think over there. Get great deals, actually 10% off of high quality protein powder, all that stuff. Supplementsource.ca for our Canadians. Get your health supplements over at Strom Sports Nutrition. And of course, thank you to everybody from Patreon. We'll have a new Patreon thread that should be out now. So check that out. Leave us questions for the next show. Dave, Swap Shop.
Swap shop. Dropping logs. Still waiting for me dropping logs t-shirt.
What kind of car parts were they?
They were coilovers.
I don't know what a coilover is.
Suspension, sir.
Oh, okay. So what
to
is
be
that
honest,
going to do for you?
my suspension was actually broken. My shock absorber was fucked.
Yeah.
So it's, without getting too technical, it's still quite soft at slow speeds. It's got what would be regarded as progressive springs on it.
Okay.
So your springs deal with your upward motion of your suspension, so your suspension compression.
Okay.
And your shock absorbers deal with the rebound at the rate at which it comes back down. You would call
Yeah.
them damp. You would call them dampness,
Okay.
which probably makes more sense in how they work because it dampens the rebound of the spring.
Yeah.
Now it has progressive springs on it now. So what happens if you're going slow? It will still undulate well over slow bumps.
Yeah.
But if you load the spring hard, the spring stiffens. So, like cornering at speed is much more stable.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. My suspension changes on the Mini when I put it in sport mode, and it
Yeah, it
gets
stiffens up.
stiffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not controllable in a computer system like a lot of modern cars are, but the springs are what are called progressive springs. So when you load them hard, they resist and go stiff. When you load them slowly, they'll contract and expand gently. So it still works off road, but has much better on road manners.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. So you're gonna do some off-roading? Do you guys
Yeah.
have off-roading? I didn't think
Oh yeah.
you guys just had like little villages everywhere. I didn't think you really had a lot of
We
country
don't
over there.
we don't do the rock crawling stuff. There's a
Yeah.
couple of places that have a little bit of it, but not like the Moab.
That's good
type
because
stuff.
you like Utah and stuff, they do that stuff here.
Yeah.
Good because you would flip your truck over and break it if you did that, Dave.
So ours is
I
more
don't trust you
wet,
with rock crawling.
wet, muddy stuff, that sort of stuff.
We do that here in Michigan. They call it like mud bogging.
Yeah, well, the states have actual mud runs, don't they? Where ours is just going through shitty terrain, you know.
So now I know you used to have a monster truck. Back in the 80s, I went to the Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, actually Pontiac, Michigan, and I watched Bigfoot there. And they had a crash up derby, and they filled this whole runway full of mud, just soaked it all down, man. And then they had trucks and cars that were trying to drive through it. Every single one of them got about 3/4 of the way through and got stuck.
No,
And then
so
they had to take 10 minutes to tow it out. It was the boringest thing ever. Also, every single dad was there was a smoker. And oh my God, you could hardly see through all the smoke in the Pontiac Silverdome back in 86.
So we have generally two types of off-road racing competition. One is gates,
Okay.
or where you'll have a bit like, have you seen canoeing where they have to get through the gates?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, where they'll do a stretch of river and they might have to paddle upstream to get round the gate, and if they touch the agate, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a similar sort of thing. Have you seen the Icelandic stuff?
I don't know, maybe.
Right, so basically it'll be a track through...
We'll get this out of the way before the show starts.
It'll be a track through some forest land or whatever, and there'll be really awkward angles and turns, and you have to get through the gates.
Yeah.
And then they do speed sections as well. I used to do a lot of off-road. Well, used to do quite a lot of off-roading back in the day, and I actually competed as well. I won a Jeep championship, actually.
Did you really?
A Jeep Fest.
Okay.
Many moons ago, but I don't do competitive off-roading anymore. I don't even do it for fun anymore. It's too fucking expensive. You break too much shit.
One day you have to show us a picture of your monster truck that you had. I think you actually sent me one not too long ago.
Yeah. It wasn't a modern truck. It was an old leaf spring ride truck, but I used to do stupid shit with it.
Oh, I bet you did.
Yeah.
Somebody asked us on the Blood, Sweat, and Gear the other day. They said, would you rather fight 3 Skip Hills in his current condition, in state, in age, or 1 Dave Crossland in his prime?
What was the answer?
We all picked 3 Skips.
Oh, that's not very nice, is it?
Yeah. Well, I told him the story you told me. I was like, Dave's gotten hit with a lot of stuff. He said he might not be the hardest puncher there ever was, but he sure can take a hit. I said, that was what you said about yourself. So
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I don't think you're going down that easy. You guys, are we blurry to you? Is Dave blurry to you?
I seem to be a little slightly off, but nothing major.
All right. It'll record good no matter what, so we apologize. All right, should I bring this thing in?
Go on then, I suppose so.
All right.
Do we have to do it?
Yeah, we have to. The people like the show. If we don't do it, then who will? Every
I
other
feel
YouTuber will.
someone could do a better job than us.
Oh, a lot of people can, but it's not us.
That's true. Well, do a lot better job than you. AI could do your job.
Oh yeah, no, it'd probably do it better than me too. As a matter of fact,
I'm
he's
unique.
pixely. You're pixely. That's what Blunt Force Tanya says.
No, you're pixely to me. I'm normal.
Blunt Force Tanya, am I pixely too? All right, we'll just bring this thing in. Here we go. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of the Tanya here. There we go.